The tale of silent Julian Alvarez is one that has all of us, not just us culers, but every football fan crazy at the moment. So right now we're going to see the real truth of what's happening with the Julian Alvarez deal. Will he end up in Barcelona? Will Laporta and Deco be able to find not just his signing, but the deal that actually benefits Barcelona? So we'll see that in this video. Well, to start with, the beginning of this signing was when we heard that on the 27th and 28th of May, Barca was reportedly signing Anthony Gordon. And in just a matter of hours, the deal was completed. But to our surprise, few hours later, Julian Alvarez, there were reports that Barca was sending an official bid for Julian Alvarez. This is something that caught the transfer market completely off guard because people really thought that Barca was going to be able to sign Julian Alvarez that same week, which, for you guys to remember, the 27th and the 28th of May is not the beginning of the transfer market yet. But Barca came in hot with that deal for Anthony Gordon with 70 million and up to variables that could go up to 80 million. So that was quite impressive. So imagine just knowing days after that Barcelona sent an official bid or was getting prepared to send an official bid to Atletico Madrid of 100 million without no add-ons, without no players for Julian Alvarez, which if we were to analyze, that would be the correct price for Julian Alvarez. But fast forwarding in that story, it turns out that there were not only reports, Barca was dead set to set that bid for Julian Alvarez. Sent in probably 3 days after, the 30th or the 31st of May, sorry, I was about to say of June, no, of May, Barca actually sent the bid for 100 million formally to Atletico Madrid to try and sign the player. But Atletico Madrid, as expected, completely denied the deal. Not just denied the deal, but rejected it as well. They rejected the 100 million proposal for Barcelona. They said that they were not selling Julian. I went on to make a mockery or try to make a mockery of Barca, but they ended up making a mockery of themselves. They were putting memes on their official Instagram page about them signing Lamine, Rafinha, Pedri, making a mockery just like a kid trying to retaliate. It was pretty embarrassing. But they rejected that offer, guys. And so many events after that happened. One of them that make me laugh always is the fact that people have in mind when someone unfollows another person. But it is quite noticeable because after that rejected proposal from Barca, Julian Alvarez's father, which is who you are seeing in the screen, unfollowed Atletico Madrid, but didn't just do that. He also followed Barcelona. So even though I think these type of things don't make sense, this is quite noticeable. When you unfollow the current team where your son is to actually follow the one where it's reported that he's going. And let's not lie to ourselves, guys. As I always say, Barca is the best team in the planet, the best sporting team in all of sports, not just football, the best entity, the best everything. So Julian Alvarez, obviously with the influence of Messi, but he's always been a Barca fan. If not, take a look for yourself at this video of Julian Alvarez when he was just a kid playing in Argentina.
Julián, y si tuvieras que elegir quién es tu ídolo en el fútbol actualmente. Tu ídolo en el fútbol, tu jugador favorito.
Messi.
¿Y tu equipo que sos hincha?
Y River, del Barça.
So guys, as you see there, the journalist was asking Julian, I think when he was like 10 years old, who's your football idol? He said Messi. And who are you a supporter, a fan of which team? He said River Plate, where he eventually played, one of the best teams in Argentina alongside Boca Juniors, and Barça. So Julian has been a culé ever since he was a kid. Obviously, the influence from Messi is a lot, but when we talk about the quality that Julian Alvarez has, and the fact that he will feel the passion of actually playing for Barca is something completely amazing. Something that leaves the football world completely apoplectic and wondering how this deal could come to life. That's why all the culers are excited, because they know that this is just the perfect signing for Barca. It's not just the technical qualities that he have, the ruthless, finishing that Julian Alvarez has in his disposal, but also the passion he feels because he's been a Barca fan ever since he was a kid. So this clearly shows the position in which Barca is and the position that Atletico are showing themselves to be in, based on the fact that they know that Barca is a greater club than Atletico. That will forever be the case. And that Julian Alvarez in this case is super keen to join Football Club Barcelona. That's why Atletico Madrid, as you see there in this wonderful post by For Blaugrana, are just in the media just trying to portray a position of dominance, saying that they are not going to allow Julian Alvarez to go. Because it's true that Julian does have a 500 million release clause. But Atletico Madrid are not dumb. They're trying to make themselves difficult to extort and bring the price as high as possible for Julian Alvarez. But we know this is a deal that just type of as when you play chess, you want to play your moves right so as not to overpay and also to be able to get what you want. Atletico Madrid will want to get the transfer fee they prefer. And I assure you guys that Atletico Madrid, having the best, in my opinion, sporting director in Matteo Alemany, they know exactly what they want to do in case they were to move on from Julian Alvarez, in case they were to sell him this summer, which seems so very likely. They know already what they are going to do. They are just playing the long game, guys. But now we're going to listen to one of the reports of a very, very close, I wouldn't call him a source from Julian, but a very reliable Argentinian reporter who goes by the name of Gaston Edul, which came with the reports that we expected and we already knew what happened in regards to Julian Alvarez. Take a look, guys.
But it's good to clarify, based on the information we have, how the Julian Alvarez case is going. The first thing I have to say is that based on the information I have and how I see the landscape, it's going to be a very long and complex negotiation. It's not going to be an easy negotiation to resolve, especially because of the rigidity of the positions, especially that of Atletico de Madrid on one side, that of Julian Alvarez on the other, and those of the possible buyers, Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain. I take responsibility for what I say, and I say it with total certainty of what I feel and know, because if not, I wouldn't say it, Mona. And I see it as very difficult, almost impossible, very difficult for Julian Alvarez to continue playing for Atletico Madrid next season. I see it as very difficult. And you'll ask me why, if he's an Atletico player. Well, because I see how the positions are. Here there are two clubs that have already made offers for Julian, and both offers were rejected. One is Barcelona, and the other is Paris Saint-Germain. Within Julian's circle, the possibility of Barcelona will surely take priority, even if they make smaller offers than those from Paris Saint-Germain. And on the other side is the rigid stance of Atletico Madrid, which seems fair to me to defend its assets by saying that they won't sell him for less than a figure close to, 150 million euros, so that they don't want to give that in exchange. And this is a negotiation, and each one defends their position. Now, because of this, it's going to be complex, but it doesn't mean that it won't be resolved. I think that Atletico will defend its position as much as it can to earn the most money possible, but Atletico knows very well internally, beyond what the press releases or tweets or news reports may say, it's a strategy to defend its position, and that's fine anyway. I think they already know internally that it's very difficult for Julian to continue playing for Atletico next season. And I take responsibility for what I today that it is May 31st, the last day of May. There is still a long way to go. before it is resolved. Maybe this issue will last the entire recess or the entire World Cup. I find it difficult for Julian to play for Atletico Madrid again next season. And Malcargo.
Well, guys, that's a complete bombshell that this Argentinian reporter, shout outs to Gaston Edul for his wonderful reporting, because he's reporting the truth. He says that it's extremely difficult for Julian to come back to Atletico Madrid. Despite having a contract, despite having a 500 million release clause, and he uttered the words, Gaston Edul uttered the words in Spanish saying, me hago cargo, meaning that he actually will stand on business in terms of the reporting he's giving. He will actually won't backtrack of his words because he trusts so much on the reports he received that he's so convinced that Julian Alvarez will play for a different team this coming season. Now, it's very interesting what he said. 2 offers have been made, one from PSG, another one from Barcelona. Both have been completely rejected by Atletico Madrid. But as we were talking, as we said countless of times, and we can never get tired of saying it, Barca is the greatest team in the world. PSG just won the Champions League. Still, Julian Alvarez, being a Barca fan since he was little, will consider Barca's offer, despite the fact that it may be less of a transfer fee that Barca may offer than that of Paris Saint-Germain, which so many people say that their money, no one knows where it comes from. Maybe they put oil money there, money that doesn't come from what they've done in football to actually just afford these astronomical transfers. But either way, who sends me to say that? Barcelona and Julian Alvarez are a marriage waiting to happen. We've clearly seen Atletico Madrid is playing the long game. They want to sell him most likely for 150 million. That's why later on we have a discussion as culés of what's the appropriate price you think is worth for Julian Alvarez. What price you wouldn't go over for to get this signing done. But let's continue, guys, because there's so much intel in terms of this Julian Alvarez story.
Barcelona, well, we've got you, Sid, because something that made me smile today was that I saw if Julian Alvarez deal falls through for Barcelona and they're not able to get their hands on the Atleti player, apparently Harry Kane is plan B, the backup option.
Oh, what? I'm sorry, what? Which one's less likely?
If I mean, the thing is, Harry Kane is, you know, every club in Europe pretty much would like Harry Kane, wouldn't they? I'd very much like to swap my car for a Ferrari. It's not going to happen. I think this is, you know, this is obviously a player that they would be interested in. It's interesting, actually. This is an issue that was raised. I think it was Uli who raised this a week or so ago, and he made the point that Barcelona didn't have the money. And I think actually he would probably be well advised to not shoot his mouth off maybe so much, because you can end up with egg on your face. But it's a very, very, very difficult deal for Barcelona to do. I think Julian Alvarez is actually a very difficult deal for them to do as well. But I think they've got a better chance because they've got a player who's pushing for it. They've got a player who will tell his club that he wants to go and only wants to go to Barcelona. That wouldn't be the case with Harry Kane. And so this is a plan B that it seems to me is far more difficult to do than the plan A.
Nice plan B that would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay, I think we can all agree that Harry Kane cannot be anybody's plan B. He's plan A, A++. He is the plan. And
well, we don't need to listen to that guy from ESPN. I do not like him that much. But ESPN reporting that Barcelona's plan B, which it wouldn't be a plan B. I mean, if Julian doesn't work, I guess if something doesn't work, you do the other thing. It's considered a plan B. But they'll both be plan A. It's just like Joao Pedro, who Chelsea said that they are not selling by no means. And I believe that trying to sign Harry Kane will be a much, much, much more difficult deal than trying to get Julian Alvarez, because Julian Alvarez just wants Barca. If Barca came from Harry Kane, I don't think Harry Kane would want to argue or be in a defensive position with Bayern. So I don't pay no avail to those reports. Barca is completely focused on Julian Alvarez. I believe they have other number 9s also in the transfer window to check out, just in case this Julian Alvarez deal doesn't work out. But as you guys see, guys, and by that report, by Gaston Edul, it's clear that Julian Alvarez wants Barca. Barca wants Julian Alvarez. The problem in the middle is the team, Atletico Madrid. But Barca are already making the moves to create that financial fair play space, which we are now operating in the 1-1 rule. That's why we were able to get the deal for Gordon so easily done by 70 million. And now Anthony Gordon, is our player. But also the departure of a player which we loved so much, at least for a couple of seasons here in Camp Barça. And on that note, Ansu Fati actually has been transferred after the season on loan with Monaco. Monaco were happy with his services and are going to sign Ansu Fati for a transfer fee of 11 million. And his salary plus the transfer fee, we actually generate a 70 plus million space in the financial fair play of Barça. So Ansu Fati, what to say, a player which we had so many hopes in due to his tremendously impeccable start of his Barça career in the first team. Also in the academy as well, but due to injuries, it just didn't work out. But that deal has helped us to create more space in the Barcelona cap space for the season. All these are moves working in Barca's favor for the signing of Julian Alvarez, which, guys, Atletico Madrid is asking for 150 million. Barca sent a formal proposal that was rejected of 100 million. If you were to ask me, I believe this deal will be closed in 120 million. But as earlier as today, the 6th of June, Saturday, there's a reporter actually assuring that he spoke of both sides, both Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And Atletico Madrid, they're just bluffing. They're just playing the long game. And they believe that, well, he believes, this reporter, which you guys will excuse me because I do not remember his name. It's the first time I saw him, but he was being interviewed by a major station. And he said that Julian will end up 100% as a Barca player. That Barca, the boarding directors are telling him that it's 100% done. And Atletico Madrid as well, that just for aesthetic reasons, just not to have a bad look with their Atletico Madrid fans, they are just bluffing. And that if Barca were to offer 130 million, they would actually sell Julian Alvarez. So guys, nice here, as culers, as you guys know that I love you guys so much. I want to speak to you guys and see what do you all think. In my opinion, as I always said, Julian Alvarez is the perfect striker for Barcelona. He's fierce. Like, when we talk about Julian Alvarez, we could talk about so many things. His ability with the ball in his legs. He's not actually one of those strikers that just finishes and that's it. No, he can actually dribble. He can actually take the ball from midfield, help the play, help the flow of the game. His period in Atletico Madrid, despite their precarious way of playing football, you can't compare with Barca, of course, has helped him at least to have that intensity, which he's always had, but even more in a Cholo Simeone team that implies running back, defending. So, when we talk about Julian Alvarez, I could spend all day speaking about his finishing. I could spend all day speaking about his passing too, because he would give a ton of assists. Like, he's very good overall. But the part I want to highlight more, given the fact that Hansi Flick asks for new physical coaches for this upcoming season, because we can agree that the level of the team, despite having a great season, it wasn't as good as last season in terms of physicality. And signing Anthony Gordon, and if you are able to sign Julian Alvarez, the pressure off the ball is completely insane. Like, you are literally going to eat any team out there on the pitch easily. So, Julian Alvarez is the perfect striker, guys, but now, let's talk about this price. 130 million for Julian Alvarez. I mean, we are not talking about Ronaldinho. We're not talking about this player. I know that the market is crazy, okay? I know that we just signed Anthony Gordon for 70 million, but you have to have in mind, the Premier League has this policy that they need to have a minimum of English-born players in their respective teams in the Premier League. So it's a law, it's a policy they have that you must do that. So it makes sense that any player, a proper signing for Anthony Gordon would have been 60 million, to be sincere. We paid 70, with add-ons it could go up to 80. That's a good price, given that it's the Premier League, guys, and given that he's a natural born English player. Okay, so 130 million for Julian Alvarez. Let us get distracted or sidetracked. The thing is that you're giving 130 million to Atletico Madrid. They have the best sporting director in Matteo Alemany. Yes, we will get Julian. Yes, this will look completely amazing, guys. But goodness gracious, my people. I mean, that would be too much. I would say Julian Alvarez, if everything made sense, if the market wasn't as crazy, 100 million for Julian Alvarez is enough. No add-ons, nothing. Or 110 million. Even squinting my eyes so much, maybe I would say that 120 million. But 130 million for Julian Alvarez is quite much, guys. But I want to know what you guys think. In terms of the updates, this is something, guys, that, as we've seen, Barca sent the proposal, Atletico Madrid completely rejected it. They make a mockery of themselves by trying to laugh at Barca, but everyone is laughing at them, really. And Barca now is playing the long game. Julian Alvarez has told them, as you heard by Gastón Edul, that he does not want to go back to Atletico Madrid, that he's definitely playing in a new team next season, and that his favorite is obviously his team. The team from his heart since he was a kid, Football Club Barcelona. That's very clear. That's completely clear. Now, the thing is, as Gastón Edul said, this is a deal that most likely will be solved by the end of the World Cup. Not before, not even in these coming days, but by the end of the World Cup. Now, what happens with the World Cup? If Julian Alvarez has a wonderful performance in the World Cup, each goal he scores, you could add about 2 or 3 million to the deal. So this is a deal that's going to be so complicated, guys. These are exciting times because we are back to signing. After 4 years of having to sign just as we could, finally we are able to spend money. Finally, this Tebas completely stupid and unreasonable financial fair play strict rule is not affecting us, even though it's still in place. But Barca, with Joan Laporta at hand, has done a wonderful job by clearing our cap space and making us competitive by the hand of the greatest coach we have right now, which is Hans-Dieter Flick. But let me know what you guys think, guys. For me, it's overpriced. Julian Alvarez for 130 million. Mainly, you know what? Since he's the perfect striker, if it was any other team, if it was Arsenal, if it was even PSG, because PSG, they just, no one knows how they get their money, but they just have a ton of money when they've just been winning in Europe for the past 2 years. The League One, obviously, they win it every season because that's just, I mean, who else is there to compete against them? But even though it was PSG, what does it matter? But Atletico Madrid, giving 130 million to Atletico Madrid, you see what happened this season. The whole goal this season was just to make our life miserable. Even though we did have a great season, we won the Supercopa, we won the league. They ended up 24 points behind us in the La Liga season, guys. So obviously they are salty. They are mad that now we want to sign their key player. But it is what it is. Barcelona is the greatest team in the world. I just hope Deco, Laporta has a trick, you know, on their sleeve to see if maybe we could get a different number 9 or get Julian but for the appropriate price. If the deal was to be closed for 120 million, I will be happy, guys. But more than that, 120 is already a lot, okay? But let me know what you guys think, please, in the comment section. Would you guys pay 120 or 130, which is being reported today, 6th of June, Saturday? What would you guys do? Would you pay that for Julian Alvarez? Is it too overpriced? What would you pay for Julian Alvarez? Let me know, guys. With all this being said, we know we're in good hands. Deco Laporta. We know the team is in wonderful hands with Hansi Flick, wonderful players as well, who will be competitive next season. We will go for every title as we do every single season, and we will be okay because we are Barca. Visca Barca always. Love you, culers. Love you, Saiyans. And see you in the next one. Bye.